it was not really fair to expect them to attend a private birthday party, even of William's brother's daughter.
The Jubilee definitely was a successful weekend. There was a lot of high moments, but of course, a lot of people were talking about Harry and Meghan and what did happen, what didn't happen, and, William and Kate not seeing Harry and Meghan. Do we know if they spoke afterwards and if there's any communication whatsoever? Because it seems like, based on reporting, that there was a frosty response from the royal family to Harry and Meghan.
There was definitely a frosty relationship there. I think that I've said over and over during the Jubilee period that I think the royal family played it pretty much perfectly. They did invite Harry and Meghan, and they have always said that they're much loved members of the family, and they treated them just like that, I would say. They were picked up from their private flight by the Queen's own transport. They were taken to Frogmore Cottage, where they were put up, even though it now has other royals living in it usually. They were treated exactly as they should have been as family. They were invited to a certain number of the events. They were put with the rest of the family during Trooping the Colour to watch in private. So that was, again, treatment like any other royals in the family. I think they were treated very well, and they themselves had said they had wanted to escape the glare of the media and the public as much as they had to suffer during their time as working royals. And I think the royal family respected that, keeping them out of public gaze as much as possible. I think we saw why, because when they did go to the special service of Thanksgiving for the Queen, we saw that they were booed on the way into the service, and that was obviously quite upsetting to them and their fans. So I think perhaps the royal family were right to try to steer them away from that sort of reception, knowing how most British people, I think, do see them. Harry, remember, was once one of the most popular royals in the royal family, and that's really gone south since they left the country and left the working royals. So the brothers, I don't know. They didn't have any public moments where they met or talked or showed affection for one another. We did see them a while back now unveiling the statue of their mother, Princess Diana, and there they seemed civil and polite to one another. So I don't know if there's any sense of an actual rift. I did speak to a source during the Jubilee celebrations, actually, who knows both brothers and who works even with them and has worked with them. And he said that the tensions that are talked about in the media are actually overblown, and that it's not really something that is as bad as it's made out. But then on the other hand, as a friend of both of them, that might be the official line that's being put out. So I don't think we can know. We certainly didn't see any overt public displays of affection between the two brothers. We don't know if they've spoken since. We know that also William and Kate are said not to have gone to the birthday party for Lilibet, their daughter, and Harry and Meghan's daughter. And that, again, was seen by some as a snub, but of course it wasn't a snub. They had other engagements. They were in Wales fulfilling their duties as still working royals during the Jubilee celebration long weekend. So I think it was not really fair to expect them to attend a private birthday party, even of William's brother's daughter. I think that just shows their dedication to duty and service, following the rules that are there for them in their role and their sense of responsibility. And I don't think it's fair to criticise them for not having been there. Of course, Her Majesty the Queen did get to meet Lilibet during this trip, which is great, I think, for her, and also for Harry and Meghan and their children.
Mm-hmm. Were you surprised that it was, there was reports that it was only a 15-minute meeting between Harry and the Queen. Are you surprised that it was such a brief encounter? Obviously there was a lot going on that weekend, so many different events being pulled in so many different directions, but were you surprised that it was such a brief meeting?
I can't say I was. I'm not sure it's that brief.
Right.
We're talking about someone in their 90s and a baby. And I think that given that she was working very hard to maintain her strength and ability to attend, again, the things that are there as part of her duty as the monarch, the celebrations, all of the events marking that historical landmark in not just her life, but the life and the history of this country. I think it's totally understandable that she was saving her energy as best she could for all the events that she wanted to be at, if she possibly could. And we saw that she did manage to appear several times in public, and that's great. But I think the whole nation knows, we've all got older relatives. And I think that during this period, we really saw a transformation in the Queen's presentation to the UK and the world. She went from being the leader, the sovereign, just the Queen, the head of state, to being a sort of grandmother of the nation. And I think that was a very deliberate shift. And just as we all have sympathy for our grandparents, those of us who still have them, who are older, frailer, weaker than they might once have been, we have to be respectful of their ability to show the same energy they might have had once before, or their lack of ability to do that. So I think in this case, with the Queen as grandmother of the nation, everybody was behind her. Everybody was hoping that she'd have the strength and no pain so that she could stand or walk or appear at the events that she wanted to be able to be at. Mm-hmm. And that she spent 15 minutes of that energy and time and strength at this birthday party, or just before the birthday party for her latest arrival in the family, her great-granddaughter, I think is wonderful. And I'm sure that the parents of Lilibet, Harry and Meghan, also wouldn't particularly want to criticize her for it. Well, I say I'm sure. We'll find out pretty shortly if they do, because it seems to be their new trade, criticizing members of the royal family for getting things wrong by them.
Hey everyone, I'm Christina Garibaldi, the host of Us Weekly Celebrity Coverage. Don't forget to hit subscribe for the latest celebrity news, tips, and video. And for much more content, make sure you head on over to usmagazine.com, the official home of Us Weekly Magazine.